What's going on, and welcome into Pels and Whistles, episode number 20, presented by Bet Online right here on the Believe Network. I'm Daniel Salerson alongside Rel Myers. Healthy and happy new year. It's our first show of 2023. It's not like we were going to be like the Sopranos and black out after the final episode of 2022. We are back and ready to go, and hopefully the Pelicans are ready to go. It's a big day for them as they're in Philadelphia as they take on the 76ers tonight. Rel, Happy New Year. Hope you had a great New Year's Eve over the weekend.
Happy New Year. It would have been a better New Year's Eve if we had one in Memphis. We held on for a little while, but we'll get to that. But other than that, it was a very low key night. After the game, I went home and just sat on the couch.
Just too bummed to do anything.
Just sitting on the couch. Yeah. We were supposed to go out to family members. Um, once the time comes, sometimes on New Year's Eve, it's like, I don't know, people are going to be driving crazy. I'd rather just be safe inside. And also, we got the two dogs and they were going insane around midnight. So, better safe than sorry. So, we just stayed home.
I feel like the older we get, the more overrated New Year's is, in my
I
opinion.
think
Is that
fireworks
true?
just aren't impressive. They're all the
Right.
same.
They're annoying now when you have children and dogs.
Yeah. Just you'd rather just stay inside, and you might doze off at like 9:45, and then you'll wake up at midnight when the big booms start, and then you can go back to sleep. So yeah, once you get to a certain age, I guess once you're out of your party phase, you're like, nope, that's it. I'm not going anywhere.
Today's get off my lawn moment is also presented by Bet Online because that's what we just did right there with New Year's, but that's okay. I was the one that brought it up. But anyways, let's get into the two games over the weekend. So yeah, not too much to really talk about with Memphis and New Orleans. I felt like part of that was the product of a second night of the back-to-back, an emotional win
Mhm.
the night before, schedule maker saying, "Here, go to Memphis," and Memphis is like, "Come, we're ready for you." And
Yeah.
it just it just from the get go, just kind of a slow, shaky start, and really never recovered after that.
Even if it wasn't a back to back, I think after an emotional win, we're just completely depleted. I mean, look at what happened after the two Phoenix games that we played here. Then we go on the road and lose three or four in a row.
Three,
So
yeah, three in a row.
yeah, I think it being a back to back definitely didn't help. It didn't help that we weren't full strength against them, and they weren't full strength either. I don't think, but I mean, they still had their main guys, but yeah, they play very well on their floor, just like we do on ours. And I don't remember the last time we beat them on their floor. So it is what it is.
It's been a while. I remember, I think it was a couple years ago, MLK Day. I think Pelicans
Yeah.
dropped like 130
Oh,
on that day, and that was a fun day there in Memphis. I think that was might have been the last
y-
time they've won there
yeah.
a
Maybe
couple
the
years
year
ago.
before last, I guess.
It, it is becoming a really tough place to play. It's a really fun atmosphere. You got to give props to the Memphis
For
crowd
sure.
and what they're able to do. They usually have live music there on one of the big stages on the side. Every time it seems like I used to go there, it was wrestling night. So their mascot would be jumping through tables and frog splashing people. I don't
Oh
know
my
why. It was
gosh.
always wrestling night and Jerry the King Lawler would always be there. He's from Memphis. He has a bar down there on Beale Street. But
Wow.
every time, and it seems like a wrestling match between these two teams a lot of the time too. And
Yeah.
obviously, it's special with John Moran versus Zion, and a couple plays got the best of Zion on some ankle breakers there, but that's
Hmm.
just the speed of Ja really, kicking in and his ability to get to the rim as we've always seen. But yeah, not the best of games for the Pelicans there, but you're allowed to have those every now and then. I know it's against a team that you might be competing with for seating wise.
Hmm.
But it got me thinking. I did want to ask you now that you're going into a lot of these games expecting to win, how are your reactions after losses? Because again, we've talked about it before. Like this team's gonna lose.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna go undefeated the rest of the way. They're not gonna break any records for best winning percentage or whatever. But is it tougher when after losses now, or it's more of evaluating how they lose and who they lose to compared to just actually loss?
Um, I think it's more how they lose or who they lost to. I really don't want to lose to Memphis like ever.
Right.
I talk to a lot of Memphis fans online, and when we win, I don't tend to go like gloat, but if they win, they'll come gloat, and I'm like, oh my god, just leave me alone. Go enjoy your
Yeah.
win, But I was complaining about that loss because like we need to own the tiebreaker, like and we have one more game against them. We don't see them again until April. Um, but you just really want to beat a team that's on your heels in the standings, a team that's in your division, because you want to be able to own these tiebreakers. But that one was kind of like a tiebreaker for the time being. So now they own the series 2-1 until we play them way down the line. Who knows what their team's going to look like then? Who knows what our team's going to look like then? But yeah, that one hurt. I was very irritated after that game because we always go in there and we get blown out, and it's like we hung around for a little while, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter they turned it on, and we didn't have any gas left because we were on the second night of back to back, and we had to travel out there. So um, yeah, that was not a fun game by the time we were getting to the end of it. But we keep saying that they've never beat us fully healthy, but when are we going to be fully healthy?
Yeah.
So then it just gets more and more irritating the more you think about it.
Do you think we see Brandon Ingram back this week? Do you think at one of
Hopefully,
these games?
that seems to be the I guess a lot of people think that that's happening this week for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. Hopefully, it does happen. A lot of people are looking forward like straight to Friday, but I'm like, okay, well, let's not skip Wednesday. We have a game at home on Wednesday. It'd
Yep.
be great to come back against Houston instead of throwing him into the fire against the Nets.
Yeah.
Just
Little tune-up
because
game.
we tend to stumble when he's reinserted into the lineup, so I'm not really sure, what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with him with his big toe. Again, if we want to donate some big toes to him and get him back on the court real quick.
The great toe.
The great toe. The great toe needs to be fixed for Brandon Ingram. But the night before the Grizzlies lost, a very big win over the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that's playing some really good basketball, 127 to 116. And what a night for CJ McCollum, 42 points, 11 threes. And it was just hard to fathom what he was able to do that night. The rhythm that he was in just
Yeah.
seemed like he couldn't miss, and he pretty much didn't miss. You were obviously inside there. What was that atmosphere like? Will Joel Embiid be eating crow for his words? I know it was last year, a different team, different
Yeah.
setting, but I'm sure the crowd was just a little bit different than what he talked about a year and a half ago on opening night.
Yeah, it was. I want to say when I got there, it was 6:30. The game started at 7:30. There was the lines at every single door were insane. So people were ready. People were ready for that matchup. People were ready for some big easy basketball. I think Joel definitely noticed the difference in the crowd
Mhm.
on Friday. I was lucky enough to get invited to sit downstairs. We were on row 8, kind of behind the Sixers bench. So that was fun. Especially with PJ Tucker being all upset that Zion's punking him, and they're getting
Yeah.
technicals on their bench and he's getting technicals and all this stuff. People are yelling at Doc Rivers because now he's not a friend anymore. After they were sending him
Yeah.
beers the other night, now they're like, sit down, Doc, get in your booster seat.
Yeah.
So it was really, really fun. It was very cool to see what CJ was doing, especially after he's caught tons of slander from the fan base. Anytime he has a bad night or he's got a bunch of turnovers or whatever, people are just completely dogging the guy. So it was great to see him go out there and set a franchise record and also get a win against a quality opponent.
Yeah, since when did we become so dismissive of a guy that has like a couple rough games like CJ McCollum? Yeah, people go through slumps and all of a sudden you mentioned everyone was ready to write him off, like throw him in trades. It's like, are you kidding me? Whatever. When he came over in the trade, everyone's like, yes, this is the guy. We finally got someone
Yeah.
we needed in the backcourt
These
and he
people are
wants to be here.
ungrateful.
Yeah. He misses a few threes. It's like, get him out of here. He's terrible. It's like, man, the
Yeah.
guy just dropped 42 points, 11 threes.
Yeah,
People go through slums. We know it's
for
challenging,
sure.
and yeah, he went through it, but he also knew that and
Yeah.
wanted to make sure he was, wanted to get back into kind of that rhythm to be with his teammates. And he certainly did that. And then Zion with 36 points, and those are the two people you really just needed that night. It was Zion with 36, McCollum with 42, and that's really all she wrote. I mean,
Yeah.
Valanciunas with 10, Murphy with 8, Marshall with 5, but Billy, 13 points, 4 of 7 shooting. I mean, they were also fouling a ton from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
They've got Jackson Hayes on,
And Billy,
weren't
right?
they and Billy on
Yeah. And it
3-point
was just like
shots?
last second attempts that probably weren't going to go in anyway. And they're just like diving at guys' legs and stuff. But I mean, one of the times I think they got tripped and then they
Yeah.
fell into someone's legs. But yeah, that was a really weird game. But and it seems like Zion had like the quietest 36 points because of everything that was going on with CJ and all the threes and
Yeah.
stuff. But that was a heck of a performance by those two.
Are you starting to see teams, that's basically now 2 straight games now where teams are getting frustrated by the Zion calls, and it was funny how the tables have turned where in the beginning of the year, we were frustrated because it's like, all right, you're seeing all this contact. When's he
Mhm.
gonna get to the free throw line? Now he's finally getting to the free throw line, and the opposing players are like, "Well, what's going on here? Are we starting to get some frustration with how officials are?" We talked about, I compared him to Shaq a little bit as far as
Mhm.
how hard he is to officiate, but are we sensing a little bit of a trend where the opposing team and players that are having to guard him are like, "Come on, man! I think it's just his
Yeah.
size. He's just a big fella that can. You have to be physical with him, but you have to be careful. You're going to get
Yeah.
called for a couple thousand in a few seconds."
I think if you have a guy like Joel Embiid on your team, you have no right to complain about free
Exactly.
throw shooting and the foul calls. Especially like when you're hacking, you're going like a swipe straight down on a guy, and you're like, you can't believe they would blow a whistle on you. Get a grip.
Yeah.
Like, just get a grip, man. Look around, read the room, look who you're playing with, look how many free throws this guy shoots. Um, I don't want to hear it. We've sat through it's like these other people, they don't watch, they don't see Zion getting hacked night in, night out, and it's not being called, and then they play us on the night that it is finally getting called, and they're like, "Ah, this is an atrocity. How dare they let this happen?" I don't want to hear it. We have suffered enough. We gotta shoot our free throws and make them. That's the thing. We're always complaining about free throws, and then they finally get some free throws, and they sit up there and miss like 12 or 13. Um, that's frustrating.
Yeah. Embiid went to the line 10 times. Harden went to the line 6 times. It's usually for them, 80% of their free throw attempts are coming from those two guys,
Mhm.
16 of their 22. The other night, Zion actually got to go to the line 16 times. McCollum with 6. I mean, to go to the free throw line 36 times, we mentioned making them. I mean, they missed 10,
Mhm.
shooting 72% from the free throw line, something that this team has to get better at. I
Yeah.
mean, Billy went to the line 6 times. Again, some of those were 3-point attempps, but nonetheless, I know Zion was 6 of the 10 misses, so
Mhm.
he's been better at the free throw line, but certainly needs to improve there. But still, a very huge win on a Friday night there in New Orleans against a team that has really been playing well, and now you get the benefit of closing out the season series with them. Maybe a good thing. The way Philly, I think, is going to continue to play well. They're going to get Maxi back full strength. He didn't play a lot in
Mhm.
that game on Friday, but this is always such a tough game. I know every time I've been to Philly, they just never get off to a good start
Uh-oh.
and beat in that crowd. They just play really good, but maybe the Pelicans can rely on a little bit of the Saints juju from yesterday. The Saints upsetting the number one seed in the East, in the NFC, I should say, in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
I feel like maybe the Pelicans can kind of piggyback off that and steal a win there in Philly.
Hopefully they can just do whatever they did on Friday. I mean, I don't expect CJ to make another 11 3-pointers, but I'll take another cool 36 from Zion. That'd be nice.
Is everyone kind of just circling Friday on their calendar? It just seems like everyone's waiting for January 6th. The Brooklyn Nets still, I mean, I think they've lost since they've had a winning streak, but they've won like 11 of 12, 12 of 13.
It's like
Friday
15 to
night in this
16.
15
It's
to 16.
yeah.
You had the Rockets in the middle there. I worry about a little bit of a lull, like you're looking ahead. I hopefully this team is
Mhm.
good enough there. And also you have to take care of business tonight.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get a couple game losing streak heading back home. But I just feel like when you look at this week, with Philly, Houston, and Brooklyn. That fact that game was added on national television, you're wearing your city uniforms, and people are probably thinking, "What does the uniform have to do anything?" It's still a big thing to see a different uniform on this team, and to be on national television when you weren't supposed to be,
Yeah.
because you're playing so well and you're facing one of the best teams in the East.
I gotta say, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that. I think earlier in the season, I think Brooklyn caught us at like the perfect time.
Hmm.
Now we're catching them at a time that's perfect for them.
Yeah,
Um, because even if we do come into that game, with Brandon Ingram, he's been out for a month and a half or
yeah.
something. He's gonna, need some time to get back into a rhythm. And then when we get on national TV, we tend to not do that great. So it kind of seems like it could be the perfect storm for the Nets. If we win, awesome. I'm all for it. I'm ready to be wrong. But I don't have a great feeling.
Yeah. You're certainly going to need a little bit more also from Herb Jones, who's going to slowly get back into the swing of
Yeah.
things as well. Playing against Memphis, 28 minutes, 4 points. It did have the 11 rebounds, but 2 of 12 from the field, 0 for 4 from three. And when he's been playing this year, it seems like his shooting has been off. I know he's been
Mhm.
working on that with Fred since last year. I don't know if he's relying on it a little too much now, knowing that he's confident in it, which is great. But I
Yeah,
just feel like the shots have not been hitting for him the way
they haven't.
you maybe thought would be an improvement from last year.
It's been frustrating because it got to a point where I would see him go up for a shot and I'd feel pretty comfortable with it. But these days, as soon as he's getting ready to step into a three, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a shot we should be taking. I'd like to see him attack the rim some more. And I'd like to see Trey catch a couple more bodies at the rim too. There was a couple
Yeah.
games where he's like very, very aggressive. He's hitting threes, but he's also catching bodies. But lately he hasn't been attacking the rim as much. So yeah, we really need those guys to attack. But I think one of the ways I'm gonna try to trick the universe into having us win on Friday. I feel like I don't win bets very often, right? So I try to trick the universe into making us win. Because it's not like I can't bet on the Pelicans to win and they win. That's not gonna happen. That's not how that works. I have to bet on the other team to win. And then the Pelicans
What?
will win. Or I have to say like KD's player combo or something is going to be like over whatever number or something, and then he doesn't hit that number, and then the team's not doing great, and then the Nets lose. I don't know. I always try to come up with some crazy way to trick the universe because the universe won't let me win.
But I feel like that'd be so hard to do when you're betting on the other team when you're rooting for your team. I don't think I
It's
can ever do that.
easy. I only bet like $1. Like it doesn't have to be anything
Oh,
crazy. Maybe $5 maximum.
okay.
I'm not
Well,
ashamed.
whatever amount you're doing, I hope you're using Bet Online because they remain your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from NFL and bowl season to even esports. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchups, info, player news, game trends. Bet Online features live betting, free contests, live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet online where the game starts. So
Just do
when
it.
you think about Rel making bets, think about that she is a trader and betting on the other team just for her personal gain. I
It
know
has worked
everyone,
before.
wants wealth for 2023, but Rel's doing it at the expense of your New Orleans Pelicans. Just keep that in mind.
It's worked before. I bet on the other team to win, and the universe says, "No, you silly clown, you can't win a bet."
Yeah.
And then the Pelicans win, and everyone's happy. I'll sacrifice
I
five
think
bucks.
I think you need to start wagering on who's that bird. Over under like three correct answers from opposing teams, or if you're doing who's
Oh
that bird for the
man,
Pelicans, or who's that Sixer or whatever it is. Maybe you can make some money on over under.
yeah,
And we haven't played that on here. I know it's hard to do with
yeah.
this
No,
being
we haven't in a
audio,
while.
but we gotta find a way.
We
Gotta
do.
do it because I was I'm watching some of these. And I'm like, that's Donatas Motiejunas. I remember him and Tim Frazier.
What a guy, right?
What a guy!
I think what was the line on Friday? It was like a one. Who was favorite to win between us and Philly?
I think Philly by one.
That's what I
And
thought.
today
Like,
I was looking at the odds for tonight's game.
yeah,
Philly is favored by 5,
yeah.
and
What's that
on
about?
ESPN's matchup predictor, 73.5% chance for Philly to
I
win.
don't like it.
I was like, boy, did people forget to watch the other game? I know that's based on stats and analysis and
Yeah,
not necessarily matchup based, but again, I know it's hard to win there, but I feel like the Pelicans can at least cover the 5.
yeah.
Is that the
We
one? Is that how you would make a quick buck? Is do $1 Philly plus 5, and that way New
No,
Orleans
I
wins,
stopped
but you
betting on the
cover the spread?
spread. I stopped betting on the spread. I would do like the money line, or I would just completely stay away from that and just do like a couple of like parlays with like the player combos. So the combined points, rebounds, and assists and things like that. Last night I did one. It did not go well at all. I lost every leg of it, and I thought it was so I don't want to say funny, but I thought that it was interesting how I actually bet the under on Ja Morant getting under 47 and a half points, rebounds, and assists. And
I
he got
hate betting the under.
yeah, he got 48. He got 48. They put him
Ooh,
back in the game. And they were gonna win. Like it was clear they were gonna win. They put him back in the game, and he went and got who knows how many extra points at the to close out the fourth quarter. And I was like, Sweet. But I lost every other leg of that that parlay
Okay.
too. It was only
It just
3.
wasn't meant to
Yeah,
be.
it was only 3. I don't get, I'm not that into it.
Yep, I had a three player prop that I won last night. Jalen Brown points and rebounds over 32.5.
Mhm.
Harrison Barnes over 13.5 points, hit 16, and
Man.
Jokic 24.5 points. He scored 30 against Boston, so I did okay.
Nope.
And again, if you
Terrible.
want to do okay, make sure you use the code BELIEVE BLEAV, 50% deposit bonus, courtesy of
Yes.
Believe and courtesy of us, your proud sponsor of Pels and Whistles. So
Yes,
before we get
sir.
out of here, Rel, and get ready for tonight's game, and then we'll be back with you on Friday to preview Pelicans Nets and recap this game and what goes on Wednesday against the Rockets. Anything over the weekend that caught your eye, whether it's around the league? LeBron unfortunately had a great birthday, courtesy of the Atlanta Hawks, who decided not to guard him, not to play any defense,
Yep.
scoring 47 points, almost a triple double, just one assist
Yeah.
shy. I mean, what the?
Solid
I mean,
strategy.
obviously, me being here in this market,
Yeah.
there's some issues going on with these Atlanta Hawks, but they did not help
Yeah.
the cause the other night. I think we should make there's always the list. I know there's some media members that are on the list, but I think we should start putting teams on the list that don't help us out with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Mhm.
And a perfect opportunity without Anthony Davis, and the Atlanta Hawks, I think, are on that list now.
Oh man. Just looking at the standings now, we're tied for second, but we're technically in that third spot because Memphis owns the tiebreaker. Um, I will say one thing that kind of every time we try to get a little bit momentum going, something crazy happened in that game, like the issue with the clock.
Yeah.
That kind of stunned us a little bit. And then I noticed did you see what happened last night with Denver and Boston with the
No.
rim? They had almost a 40-minute delay in that game because the rim was crooked and they kept trying to put a level on it and the level
Yep.
would never get right.
And they have to be exact on those too. If there is a smidge difference with
Yeah.
NBA regulation, that's happened before. I think Zion did that to a rim in Indiana
Oh
in his first
man.
year. We sat there in a delay because I think it was going into halftime, and even
Hmm.
after halftime they couldn't fix it. We started a delay in the third quarter because he broke the darn rim, which is pretty cool, but not when we're sitting there trying to figure out what to do.
Man, every now and then I think about that video where it was after he got drafted, but before the season started. I think they went to play golf and it was him and Josh Hart and whoever else, and he
Oh
he
yeah,
broke.
broke his driver.
And Josh is like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah,
He doesn't know his own strength, man. But I mean, yeah, we're still sitting pretty in the standings. We have a 2.5 game lead on Dallas. So they're in the fourth spot back there. But yeah, the Dallas has actually won 6 straight though, so they're kind of moving on up in the world.
Yeah, they need Luka Doncic to score 50 or more points.
Oh
Did you see what Greg
man,
Popovich his goal? He's like just to hold him under 50, and he scores
you
51
got
against them.
51, right? Houston's at the bottom of the standings. They've lost 3 straight, so I
Did you
feel
see what
pretty
our friend
confident
Eric
about them.
Gorin said
Yeah.
about him? He asked if you seen any improvement. He's like, no, there's
What a
been no
great
improvement.
veteran.
He wants the karma train. It may have taken a few years, but the karma train definitely came back down the tracks to him. You wanted out of here, you
Man.
got it. What did it get you? No rings.
Nope.
Hey, you're putting up some good numbers
Yeah.
there, but now you're on a team that's rebuilding and you're just kind of stuck.
He got several playoff appearances, so I hoped he enjoyed
Yeah,
that
good for
while
him.
they did
Yeah.
that. Maybe Western Conference Finals and things like that. But yeah,
What
don't
if he
feel sorry
demands a
for
trade
him.
to the Pelicans? What if the Pelicans got Eric Gordon back?
That would be chaos. I feel like if he was here, people would get over it. Like especially if he's making shots and stuff. I feel like people would get over it. But that I don't think that's anything that any of us are hoping for specifically.
No, I'm just
But
trying to create madness here in 2023. New year. Let's just start some trouble here on Pels and Whistles. Why not?
yeah,
I
why
mean,
not?
why not? Well, we'll see what happens tonight. Again, tip off, I believe, if I can get my handy dandy
Six
scoreboard
o'clock,
up
I
here.
think.
6 o'clock Central,
Yeah.
which is I used to love 6 o'clock Central games because you're done earlier.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens again Wednesday night at home against the Rockets. Make sure you're there for that one. Again, no matter the opponent, keep the atmosphere like a playoff one, like the fans have certainly been doing. And then Friday's the big one,
Hmm.
6:30 Brooklyn. Still encourage you to watch it on Bally Sports. I know it's on
Yeah.
ESPN, but just from based on past experiences, I hear you're like, what the heck are those announcers talking about?
They're not gonna
The
have anything
national
good to say, those national people. They're gonna
You
just
always got to keep it real with Joel, AD, and Jen. Listen to Todd on the radio.
Mhm.
Always keep your local flavor there when you're talking about the games, even if it's nationally televised. That's more for everyone else to get to enjoy the Pelicans. But if you're local, make sure you go to the game. Again, another sellout, which is awesome to see.
Yeah.
But make sure you're tuning in on Bally and on WRNO. Laurel, this is a great way to start the new year. I appreciate you as always. Again, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever your podcast may be. You can also find
Yes.
us on YouTube. Click the like button, click the rate, click subscribe. Do it all. One of your New Year's resolutions, listen to more Pels and Whistles, and we will get you everything you need to know about this Pelican squad. Hope for a win tonight, Rel, and we'll talk to you on Friday for our next visit.
See you then.
All right, for Rel, I'm Daniel. Thanks for listening to Pels and Whistles, presented by Bet Online right here on the Believe Network.